If you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'd like to present the principal of Central Haywood High School, Mr. Jeff Haney.
What an honor it is to be here tonight to recognize young children who have grown into young adults and have done very well while at Central Haywood High School. This is your time, and we do appreciate you. We have to do a few housekeeping things, and I want to go over that. Family members, we ask you to stand when we call out your child's name. That's every family member. We want to stand and we want to recognize you. Please remember that after you stand, sit down, because we want every person to hear their child's name. So this is a time of honor, so let's make it very honorable. You can clap, you can, that a boy, you can cry if you want to, but let's make sure we do it very honorable. This is our 20th graduation ceremony. And I'm very excited, and I'm sure that you are too. Probably more than I am right now. You get to see the end that's really the beginning. Thank you for supporting your child. Thank you for supporting Central Haywood High School. I'd like to recognize those who support us. And if you'll please stand, Dr. Garrett, if you'll please stand. Thank you. Dr. Nolte. Dr. Douglas. Ms. Ferrara. We would like for anyone from the Haywood County School Board to please stand. We're very lucky this year. We have Miss Cooper on the piano. Haywood Community College has graciously allowed us to use this facility. We'd like to give them a round of applause. And we're very lucky that our instructional technology support team for Haywood County Schools has, they're going to video this for us. So if you'd like a video, we'll be able to offer you a video of the ceremony tonight. I'd also like to recognize the staff of Central Haywood High School. Please stand. Thank you. I'm the fourth principal to serve at Central Haywood High School. And we have 3 other principals here tonight, which is incredible. I don't know that I've ever been to a graduation where every principal from the school has attended a graduation. We have Mr. Phil Presley, Mr. Jim Griffin, and Mr. Richard Reeves. My notes, sometimes you get a little excited. I won't say nervous, but sometimes you get a little excited. And my note says Mr. Reeves is the man. He's the man who believed that we needed to stop dropouts in Haywood County. He had a vision, and this vision involved creating a school, and that's how Central Haywood High School come about, to give them a nurturing, caring environment where they could learn. And his vision is continuing now, 20 years later. It is an honor to introduce Mr. Richard Reeves.
Thank you, Mr. Haney. At this time, we would like to recognize some of the alumni that came through good old Central Haywood High School over the last 20 years. And I think we're going to do it. If you came through Central Haywood High School in the beginning, 1994, in the time that I've served as principal there, if you were a student there or a faculty member there. Would you please stand at this time? Glad to have you, glad to have you. How about when Mr. Griffin was there? Mr. Griffin followed me. Mr. Presley. We appreciate y'all coming tonight, okay? Thank you so much for being here and for your support over the years. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Parris.
"20 years, I was standing for all those, right? Been here a long time. It's very special to me to be here for 20 years and be a part of this school and to see so many young people that nobody else was believing in, or they were having problems somewhere else, or they dropped out and wanted to come back, or whatever the reason. But they came back, and I saw them get in those black gowns and go across the stage, and there's no greater joy than to be through 20 years of that at one school, and 4 fantastic principals, 4 of them. At this time, I'd like to recognize our scholarship recipients and our career readiness certificate winners from the ACT test, and our Altrusa Students of the Month that were honored, as well as one student who is getting 2 different kind of diplomas, a 2-year degree at HCC, while she's been finishing her 2 years at Central Haywood High School. And I'd like to honor her now, Ms. Taylor Mann. She finished her certification, 2 years of it, in collision repair and refinishing technology. And we're very proud that she was able to do that while she was going to our school and completing a diploma too. Very good job. Our scholarship recipients, if you will stand and stay standing until we got all of you, please. The Eckerd Scholarship was awarded to Tabitha Ammons. The Altrusa Vocational and the Nick Mastriana Memorial Scholarships went to Richard McKinney. The Pepsi Vocational Scholarship was granted to Austin Gain. The Haywood County Schools Foundation awarded 3, Cameron Brashear, Jessica Shoemaker, and Paige Sutton. Now just go to college, guys. Haywood Community's waiting on you. Thank you. Our Altrusa Students of the Month, the Altrusa Club gives a scholarship, and we got one of those, but they also honor a student 3 times a year for our school, 2 times a year for the other schools, because they think we're special, and we are. So we had 3 Altrusa students: Austin Gain, Taylor Mann, and Richard McKinney. Good job, guys. The club honored them already. They got nice gift card certificates, really nice. Our Career Readiness Gold Certificate, we had one, that's the top certificate for career readiness, was won by Robert McCarger. That's a great thing. That's a really great thing. The Bronze Certificate in Career Readiness was earned by Tabitha Ammons, Cameron Brashear, Austin Gain, Taylor Mann, Richard McKinney, Kayla Parker, Michael Ryan, Nick Surslin, and Paige Sutton. These students had no idea they got those yet because we hadn't told them. Congratulations to all of you for all the scholarships and the wonderful certificates you earned. We're very proud of you. Go forth and do great things with those.
Congratulations to all of you for those awards. I know you've worked hard. Before I address the seniors, we talked about giving a little history of Central Haywood High School. You know, 20 years is quite a step for an alternative high school. A lot of them close up before then. They don't have the support that we've had in Haywood County. So if I could go back really probably about 28 years. I know we've been here 20, but about 28 years ago, Sam Smith out of the central office, he was associate superintendent, wrote a grant to help young people stay in school. It was a dropout prevention grant. There were 3 counties in North Carolina received that grant. Wake County, of course where Raleigh's located, Granville County, just north of Raleigh, and Haywood County. And we used that grant money to kind of start schools within a school. And we hired some teachers at the secondary levels, middle schools and the high schools, and we had a classroom set aside for students that we didn't feel like were achieving as they should or as they could. And these kids came into these classrooms and they just started going up the ladder. They were getting that individualized attention that they needed. They were getting some individualized instruction that they needed, and they were setting it on fire for us. And we just kept thinking, if we could do this in the schools, what could we do if we had an alternative high school sometime down the road for middle school and high school children, students, young adults later on, you know. But so we even we had this dream for quite some time before we could fulfill it. But when Dr. Campbell was a superintendent, they decided to buy a building to put the school in. And many of you know it was the building down on Main Street in Clyde. At that time, it was a Home Trust Bank. And that was purchased, and then we got together in the bank. The only problem was the bank was still in the bank. Okay, they were supposed to have moved out by the time school started in August, but they didn't get their new building started. So this alternative school started with about 75 students in a bank building with money still in it, okay? and all the bank people, and we used the downstairs and a couple of classrooms upstairs. We used the churches down there, Rehoboth Church and Clyde Central Methodist let us use some of their rooms. So we were spread out over that campus pretty well for a long time. We stayed there 7 years. It was quite a thrill for me to have the support of the central office, to have the support of people in the community, to have the support of civic clubs to open a school like this. Now, not everybody supported it in the beginning, okay? People were worried about an alternative school down in Clyde, North Carolina. But as the years progressed and these new principals came in and the staff that we had, we feel like we've got everybody on board. And they really started supporting the school. We have Rotary clubs that even meet in the schools now, in our school down at Central Haywood High School now, and they've supported us. Sunrise Rotary support us, Lions Club, all kinds of support. So certainly that's something we're very proud of, that they came around and helped us. You know, it was also a thrill for me to be able to hire all the teachers in this new school and I had the permission from the superintendent to go out into all the schools in Haywood County or go anywhere I wanted to and recruit teachers to come to Central Haywood High School. We wanted teachers that had a big heart. And that's what I looked for when I hired these teachers. If they had a big heart, we were going to try to bring them to Central Haywood. I'm sorry, I kind of get excited when I talk about those early days and some of those teachers that we had, and I promise you, if we hadn't had those teachers, I wouldn't have made it. You know, a principal does not a school make. Sorry, guys. It's the teachers that make a school and the students. So we had we really recruited some great teachers, and I would like to give you one little story about a hiring that I did, maybe a couple of them, but this one comes to my mind, and what you have to think about back in the beginning. We didn't always, I don't know exactly how to put this, but in the beginning, most of the schools that first few years sent most of their discipline problems. It was a tough place those first few years. It has come so far, and I am so thankful for the students. I've been down there this week. It's been one of the best weeks of my life, talking to these young people and visiting down there and talking with the staff. You know, I've been retired 9 years, and I went to Meadowbrook before that, so I've kind of been away from it, but what a joy it was to go down there and see what these guys have done. All these teachers up here and the principals, it's a whole new game from what we were when we first started down there. And the reason I'm telling you that is, you know, we had some teacher turnover there in the beginning, some teacher burnout. And I remember we lost one, and I had to hire a new one for the next year, and I interviewed 8 people. And I got it down to 2, and I couldn't decide which one to hire. And I thought, how am I going to decide on this? One teacher that applied had been in the Detroit City schools. She had also been in Washington, D.C. in the inner city schools. I think where Jim's been spent some time there. She had been several places, worked with gangs and so forth, and you know, she said she had a lot to offer Central Haywood High School, and I believed her. And she did. And then there was another one from Miami, Florida, and she was top of the line. She was young, she wasn't married. I was a little concerned about her coming up from Miami to Canton, North Carolina, and how long was she going to stay in Haywood County? And that was one reason. This other lady was coming here, but her husband was going to be a professor over at Western. So I figured she's going to be here for the long haul. And I wasn't sure about this other one, whether she was perfect for the job. She had the heart. Both of them had the heart. But I decided to hire the one that had been in the inner city schools. And she came to Central Haywood High School, and I'm not sure they still do this or not, but we opened school up with 2 half-a-days. She stayed a half a day. And she came into my office and said, "I'm not coming back." And I said, "What?" I said, what's all this? Why not? I just can't handle this. I can't handle this. A half a day. So if you go way back there in time, it must have been pretty tough at one time for this inner city school teacher to last a half a day. That afternoon, after she left, I called Mrs. Bethea. Where is Ms. Bethea? There you are. And she's been there 15 years. That was the other teacher I didn't hire. One more little teacher I hired. I don't know if I should tell this or not, but it might resonate with some of you along the way. I hired this young man, and he was a ball of fire. He had the heart. He had the kids loved him. The teachers loved him. I thought the world of him. He was doing a great job. He was there 3 weeks. We hired him. He was there 3 weeks, and his drug test came back. And he tested positive. He lasted 15 minutes at Central Haywood High School after that. So that just kind of shows you some of the things we've been through. We used to have, and this, as you get older, some things just drive you nuts, But we used to have what we called community service at Central Haywood High School. And we loved it. And every Wednesday, we took our 75 to 80 students out in the community. And they went to Habitat for Humanity. They went to Meals on Wheels. They went to the Open Door. They went to nursing homes. They picked up litter. They went all over the community. And it gave us an opportunity to mesh with the community. And the people in the community saw what our kids were like. And they just kept saying what a great bunch of kids we have at Central Haywood High School. And that's one of the things I'm sad about that we can't have at Central Haywood now because of the testing that's going on. Okay? Now, Dr. Garrett, I'm already retired, okay? But this testing, test, it takes away a little bit from the atmosphere at school sometimes when all you think about is test scores. I want to teach kids, not test, okay? But that's a little. Couple of other things that we had, and I do want to say that we had so much support. Now, when we first moved over there, we didn't have any a cafeteria. I see Ms. Parrish back there now. She's been there the whole time, right? When we got a cafeteria at Central Haywood, she came, and that's been quite some time ago. So she's been there a long time. But we used to bring it in breakfast from Tuscola or lunch from Pisgah or wherever we could get it. But finally, we moved over to the beautiful building across the road at Clyde Elementary School. And we really did think we had died and gone to heaven when we got over there to the old Clyde Elementary School. And I was just down there, like I say, this week. I hope y'all are so proud of that school, because to move from that little old, now it's the town hall, right, in Clyde. And it's a beautiful building. There's no doubt about that. But to be able to move over to the Clyde Elementary School and for them to spend the money to fix it up so nice and have all the equipment that you guys have down there now, to me, it's a godsend. It's a great place. It's a great place. Of course, one thing you got to have, I talked about the support of the community, but we had the support of the central office always. Dr. Campbell opened it, and Robert Cathy was the chairman of the school board. Then we had Bill Upton and Mark Swanger, and they supported Central Haywood High School in a great way. Now we have Dr. Garrett and Dr. Nolte, and they support Central Haywood High School, and you have to have that. You have to have that in order to be successful. So two more things about Central Haywood, and I'll shut up. I could talk from now on, and I get accused of talking too long sometimes, so I'm going to knock it off so I can get to the main reason for tonight. But we also started a couple of things that I'm proud of, and I think they're still going on. The Thanksgiving dinner. We always invite all the alumni back for Thanksgiving to eat there. Bessie, Miss Parrish feeds them all. We get the kids back. We get their parents in, grandparents, anybody that's connected with them. Come on down Thanksgiving, okay? All you new people, Thanksgiving, come back and see us at Central Haywood. We don't forget you when you graduate, okay? It's forever at Central Haywood High School. And another thing was what we did at Christmas. We always got maybe some I wished you could have seen our kids working with elementary school kids, finding kids that didn't have a coat or didn't have food for the week or didn't have any presents for Christmas. And our Central Haywood High School students would make sure they got something. I promise you, they made sure, and we brought those kids in, and it was just I wish you could have been there, okay? I just wish you could have been there. I think they still do that. Maybe bring in some kids, or they help our own. You know, we have not just elementary kids that don't have coats and don't have enough food to make it over the weekend. We've got our own kids at Central Haywood High School that face some of those same issues. So help them out any chance you get, okay? And I'm sorry, I just wanted to kind of cover a little bit of Central Haywood High School so you would know where it's come from. I look down here and I say 15 graduates. You know how many we graduated the first year? The first graduating class at Central Haywood High School had one student. That was in December of our first year. Cecil Patton, I don't know that Cecil made it tonight. He was going to try to get here. I wished he could be here. He could do the best chainsaw imitation you ever heard. It was great. I'm going to move along. I'm going to get to the main reason for this evening. And if I were sitting where you were sitting and you heard that they'd ask a 66-year-old man to come in and give your keynote address, I'd probably lean over to my buddy and say, "You think he'll live through the graduation?" You know, when I was your age, I thought somebody that was 50, I thought they were getting ready to kick the bucket, but in good old America, you live longer and longer these days, and I shortened this up a little bit so I'd make sure I got through the whole graduation, okay? This is a commencement, right? What is a commencement? That's when you start something. That's a new beginning. And that's what I want you to know tonight. This is a graduation, and you are finished with high school, but it is just the beginning of your life, okay? The future, all of it's ahead of you. And I know sometimes maybe when you went to, let's say, the middle school, you were just a little timid about going maybe. You worried about it just a little. Or when you went to high school, you worried about it just a little bit. Well, it's okay to be worried just a little bit right now, okay? But the testament to you is that you're getting a high school diploma tonight. Mr. Haney's going to give you a diploma when you walk across this stage. And I don't want to use the word give. It's not a gift. You earned it. You earned it just like the students at Pisgah High School, Tuscola High School, East Mecklenburg High School, Irwin High School, Chapel Hill High School. It's the same thing. You earned it just as much as anyone at any of those other schools. And that's one thing that we said in the very beginning, that we were not going to be a diploma mill and we were not going to give diplomas. You were going to have to earn them. Okay? Each one of y'all have done that. You've met the requirements to graduate from Central Haywood High School. A lot of people will say that these are your best years in high school. I'm not going to say that, okay? These are good years, but your best years are ahead of you. And you can decide what those years are going to be like. Your path has been a little bit different than some of those that graduated earlier this week. You've taken a road less traveled. Many of you have faced situations that your classmates, some adults would not understand. You've overcome these obstacles that have come upon you. You've met the challenges. You've achieved your goal. You've met adversity head on and beat it. Be confident. You have earned it. You don't have to worry about what's out there. You can handle it. I promise you, you've come through all this, you can handle that. You've got You have so much potential. Use that potential in a good way. You know, there was a man, wise man one time said, the person that you're with the most in life is yourself. If you don't like yourself, you'll always be with somebody you don't like. That's not a good thing, is it? Be happy with who you are. Have big dreams. Reach for the stars. You can do it. You've got to, like I say, be proud of yourself. Don't ever sell yourself short. Now, if you can look around this room just a little bit, you will see people in here that have helped you along the way, whether it be parents, teachers, friends, any family members. Lots of people have helped you attain your goal, and they're not going to stop now. We're going to continue on, okay? As long as you can come to those Thanksgiving dinners down here, we'll do everything we can to help you. If you need something, let somebody know at Central Haywood High School. We'll help you any way we can. When you look around, you know that there will be people in here that you may never see again. You might not ever see them again. You may not remember a word that I have said. On down the road, you'll forget everything old Mr. Reeves said. But I would like to leave you with a thought, and I'm going to move along. And that thought would be that as you approach life, it's not always going to be fair. I can promise you that. It can be messy sometimes. Life can be hard. Just like, you got a small dose of it maybe in school. Life can be hard, but you have come through it. You will come through some of those obstacles, those times that are hard. When I think about my life, I've lost my parents. Both parents are gone. That's the way it works. I lost a brother at a young age. My best friend from Vietnam didn't make it. My wife's mother has Alzheimer's. You'll face some of those same situations. But who you become and how you overcome those tough times is what will define you as a person the rest of your life. And I don't want to be gloom and doom, okay? I've had a ball, okay? Those 66 years have been fun. And like I say, I've had some tough times. We all have tough times. Everybody has tough times. But it's how you come through them that makes the difference. I can promise you that. And some of the happiest people you run into in life are some of those that have been through the toughest situations, because they're thankful for what they have. And I'll say, you're the ones that are in control of your life, okay? When you leave here tonight, you're in control. Mom and Daddy can't control what you do. You have to set your own goals. You have to set your own priorities. You have to set your own limits. So it's up to you. And another wise man once said, you can't direct the wind, but you can adjust your sails, and you can decide who's in the boat with you. That's very important, okay? Make sure who's in that boat with you. But you'll handle, I'm not worried about it. I've talked with you. You'll handle these situations with the poise and maturity that you have throughout high school and throughout your lives. And you're going to mature a little more, and you're going to get some more of that poise, okay? And you're going to do great. And, and I promise I'm finishing here in a second. As you get older, sometimes you wonder about the next generation, okay? What's this generation coming to? How many times have you heard that? Have you heard that a few times? I wished I had a nickel for every time I'd heard it. What's this new generation coming to? Well, as I look back, I think about my parents, and they were worried about my oldest brother. He was 10 years older than I am. He's still alive. He's 10 years older than I am. The middle brother's one that's not alive. But where was I? Oh, my older brother, my parents watched him listen to Elvis Presley. And they thought Elvis Presley was going to be the ruination of the world. Now, how many of you in here know Elvis Presley? Right? Okay. Elvis wasn't the ruination of the world, was he? Remember, they wouldn't put him on television from the waist down because of the way he danced. Okay? Then, when I came along, I was supposed to graduate in 1966, and the Beatles came over in 1964. And they were going to be the ruination of the world. You know, they had that long hair, and everybody started wearing long hair, and the hippie generation came along, and they were going to be. Well, you know, now, here I am, and I'm worried about old Tupac Insecure, or what, and Miley Cyrus. You know, Miley Cyrus and that wrecking ball or whatever. You know, we all got something to worry about. But I think back of a record that old Merle Haggard came up with. Now listen, this was 32 years ago, and the name of the song that Merle Haggard came out with is "Are the Good Times Gone for Good?" And then there was another one came along right after that said, it was by the Judds, and it was "Grandpa, Tell Me About the Good Old Days." Well, the good old days are yet to come for y'all. Okay, they're not gone. The good old days are not gone. They're just starting for you. Okay? And my challenge to you is to make this a better world. And you can do it. Okay? I've got grandkids coming along. I got a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old grandsons, and I got a granddaughter coming in September. Make it a better world for them. Please. No more Columbines. No more Sandy Hooks. Okay? Make it a better place. Good luck and God bless you.
Here's the rest of your paper right here. I think it's ironic that Mr. Reeves mentioned that he hired a teacher from Miami. I'd like to introduce our Teacher of the Year for the 2014-15 school year, Ms. Bethea Brown. It's not on our program, but we've had some principals come from distance. Mr. Griffin left Washington, D.C. this morning to come here just for this. That's a long drive, and it's not a fun drive. Mr. Presley's from further west. He drove a good distance to get here. What Mr. Reeves didn't tell you was that Mr. Reeves and Mr. Griffin, neither one graduated high school. Neither one of them did. But they worked hard. And they worked hard and went back to school and become leaders in a school. And I'll bet you if you ask them right now if they were your age and you said, you'll be a leader of a school one day, I bet their friends would have laughed and said, well, you're crazy. That'll never happen. But you'll see what they overcome. You are already a step ahead of them. You're already moving forward, much further ahead than they are. I'd like to give them an opportunity to say just a short sentence or two to you graduates. Mr. Griffin.
Well, thank you, Mr. Hayne. When he said that about not graduating high school, you're not supposed to tell everything, yeah. But I will say to the graduates, I'll give you a few words of advice. I used to teach cosmetology, and that just didn't work out too good. That's a joke, okay? That's a joke. I didn't teach cosmetology. I had to follow Mr. Reeves, and he certainly is a great founding principal, isn't he? Give him a round of applause on Mr. Reeves. Since leaving Haywood County, I've got an opportunity to travel across the United States. I work with a company that we actually start schools in other states. And I will tell you, I would be the last person you would ever pick in high school to be a principal that travels across the nation. But you now have that opportunity. But here's my words of advice. Listen to your mama. She's wise. She'll give you great advice. Take care of your needs. You'll need them down the road. Okay? And most of all, listen to what Mr. Reeves told you. Answer to the public in your community from your heart, and you'll never go wrong. Thank you very much.
Mr. Presley.
Well, I was lucky enough to follow Mr. Griffin, and I didn't get in his cosmetology class, so, his failed and mine's still here. Just kidding. But guys, the only thing I want to say to you is the only person that's keeping you from reaching the goal that you set for yourself is a person that's wearing the shoes that you have on your feet right now. Because you people can go places, and the only person that can stop you is yourself. And like they said, Mr. Reeves, listen to his speech. There was a lot of good stuff there. But also listen to your parents and listen to your teachers. And the biggest thing is don't forget who you are and don't forget where you come from.
Tabitha Renee Ammons.
Cameron Tyler Brashear.
Austin Daniel Gain.
Christian Blaze Keith.
Lemuel McCoy Leopard.
Robert Lee McCarger.
Taylor LaVey Mann.
Richard Lewis McKinney.
Kayla Renee Parker.
Dustin Lee Robertson in absentia.
Michael Andrew Ryan.
Nicholas Taylor Sursland.
Jessica Daisy Pauline Shoemaker.
Alyssa Page Sutton.
Trey Austin Warren.
I'd like for our ushers to stand just for 1 second. If you all will stand up just for a second. Let's give them a hand. Without them, if you'll stand. Tyler, if you'll stand. Thank you very much. Thank you. Parents, here's what's getting ready to happen. We're getting ready to announce that our kids Richard's wore off on me. We're getting ready to announce our kids, our students from this age are getting ready to graduate. And what's going to happen, they're going to stand. And they're going to march out these doors, changed people. We ask that you remain seated until we can all march out, and then we have pictures in the lobby that you can have made. But just remember, this is a special time. Seniors, I want you to make one promise. I've actually got multiple. I want you to promise to be strong so that nothing can disturb you mentally or physically. I want you to promise to give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you take no time to criticize others. I want you to greet everyone with a happy smile and excitement. I want you to be just as enthusiastic about the successes of others as you are about yourself. I want you to promise to make your friends feel so important that they're very special. I want you to think positively and reach your dreams. Some of you, this is part of the dream. Some of you did not realize you'd make it here tonight, but you did. I want you to promise to think only the best, to work only for the best, and to expect the best. That's of you and everyone around you. I want you to forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the future. And I want you to be too large to worry, too honorable to become angry, too strong for fear, too happy to allow the presence of trouble in your life. Leonardo da Vinci wrote, "For once you have tasted flight, you will walk on the earth with your eyes turned skyward. For there you have been, and there you will long to return." This is you looking skyward right here. This is you looking up. This is your future you're looking at. I want you to reach out and get it. Seniors, if you'll please stand at this time. As principal of Central Haywood High School, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you, seniors, you can move your tassel at this time, the graduating class of 2014 from Central Haywood High School.